Notice this guy, pulling up all confident on his little motorbike, helmet in place, and that scenic accessory in his hand. He gets closer and drops the usual script, "I want everything." The other man, calm, starts handing over his phone, wallet, cash, but there was one detail no one could see on camera. He wasn't an easy target. He was trained to react. When he decides to move, he's fast, firm, and objective. The improvising tough guy tries to respond but realizes immediately that the plan is flipped against him. Later on, he's found in a house, together with his partner, a makeshift nurse, and the owner of the place. All three end up invited to the famous condominium. Make yourself at home, but you only see the sky through the window. The belongings go back to their owner, and the specialist ends the day unharmed, like someone who solves a problem and just carries on with life.
Security cameras capture a typical neighborhood scene. Friends sitting on a bench, talking calmly, late-night chill vibe. In the background, a motorcycle goes by, rides to the end of the street, and then slowly comes back. Familiar script, the hand-everything-over duo enters the scene. They approach the group and start the usual line. You lies, hand over the phone, watch, ring. The mood shifts, everyone steps back, but the pair had no idea that the house right behind them had a very different kind of resident, a specialist in quick reaction. Hearing the approach, he watches through the window, grabs his work equipment, and steps out calmly. At the right moment, he intervenes, makes the suspects give up on the action and run off in a hurry, leaving the bike and the plan behind. The belongings are recovered, no innocent person is hurt, and the rest is handled by the official authorities.
Calm atmosphere, family gathered, snacks on the table, late afternoon chat, until an agitated guy shows up, acting like an action movie star and disturbing the peace of everyone who was quiet. The lady hands over what he demands, the mood gets heavier, and he even shoves the man who had his back turned, increasing the tension. People step back with that look of, I just wanted to have some snacks in peace today. That's when the man in the red shirt comes into the scene, discreet, observant, calm. He goes to the back of the counter, takes a deep breath, comes back determined, and decides to react. From that moment on, the nervous visitor realizes he's not the only protagonist. He takes a series of quick responses, completely loses control of the situation, and ends up on the floor, dazed, not knowing where to look. Shortly after, the case is taken over by the proper authorities.
Calm street, early morning. A family getting ready to start the day. Everything normal. Suddenly, two motorcycles enter the street, each with its own rushed professional on top. They get off, and the one in the white jacket immediately points and announces, "Hand everything over." A woman runs up the street right away, while one of them starts searching the car in a hurry, opening doors and grabbing what he can. What the pair didn't know is that behind the rear door, there was an off-duty police officer. When the intruder comes closer, the officer identifies himself and reacts firmly. From that moment on, the perfect plan turns into confusion. Both try to run, but the escape doesn't last long. In the end, both motorcycles are recovered. One of the suspects is detained shortly after. The other is found on a nearby street and also ends up at the police station. It's past 10 at night. A car is backing into the garage. The dog is all excited, wagging its tail. Empty street, everything silent. As the vehicle crosses the gate, the most inconvenient couple of the night shows up. They walk up to the garage, point their little prop accessory, and try that basic intimidation script. The catch is that the driver wasn't just any resident. He was an officer, watching every move. When he notices their intent, he identifies himself, takes control of the situation, and gives the order.
Drop that and get on your knees. Hands on your head." The two obey immediately, without arguing, and stay there until the backup team arrives. End of the story. No one innocent gets hurt, nothing is taken, and the couple gets a close look at the famous no pool, no quick exit condominium.
It's already past 10 at night. Quiet street, lights on in the house, and a delivery rider pulling up for one more drop-off. He parks the bike, gives a quick look to the side, and notices a little duo of hand it all over coming slowly, sizing up the scene. When he hears the classic, it's over, hand over the bike," the rider, who had already understood what was happening, reacts calmly, uses what he has in his hands, protects himself, and goes toward one of the suspects, who wasn't expecting any resistance. The pair tries to run off in a hurry, but one of them ends up being held right there on the sidewalk. The accomplice disappears into the neighborhood, and the rider, instead of becoming just another headline, becomes a key witness. He keeps his cool, protects his belongings, and waits for the police to arrive and record everything.
A nearly empty street. Suddenly, a car speeds by. Moments later, two motorcycles appear, each with two riders. One of them slips on the asphalt and ends up on the sidewalk, leaving both the bike and the pair stretched out on the ground. The other comes back along the side, squeezed between cars in a tense face-off atmosphere. What happened back there? A group meeting another group. Two sides thinking they own the street, crossing paths head-on. The chase starts, with the feel of an action movie, but in a very real setting. When the people in the car meet up with the bikes again up ahead, everyone stops. There's that "so what now" stare. Then the chaos starts, shouting, running, noise everywhere. In the end, the motorcycles back off, the car drives away, and everyone goes their separate ways. And despite the scare, there are no reports of serious injuries or anyone being taken into custody.
Security cameras capture a scene straight out of a comedy. A man crouches behind a wall, waiting for his partner to clear the way for a job that was doomed from the start. As soon as the clinic door opens, the duo walks in with exaggerated confidence and a script so poorly rehearsed it could star in a soap opera. Masks on, lines memorized, and no idea that fate had just added a new character to the story. An off-duty police officer, calmly waiting for his turn in the dentist's chair. The act doesn't last long. The officer reacts with precision and ends the show before the first commercial break. The pair runs off, tripping over themselves, leaving behind their costumes and their dignity. Another reminder that real life rarely rewards actors who
8:13 in the morning. Two elderly ladies park their car ready to buy some fresh bread from the corner bakery. But guess who shows up? The infamous morning disaster duo, straight from the company Bad Plans, Inc. They arrive full of confidence, demanding everything in sight. Watches, spare change, even the purse that hasn't been opened yet. But bad luck is punctual and right on schedule. When it's time to escape, the pilot has a brilliant idea. Let's take the car. But as he turns the key, he realizes the fatal detail. I don't know how to drive. His partner replies, me neither. The silence that follows is almost poetic. Meanwhile, an off-duty police officer watching from a distance decides to end the show. Quick reaction, total control, and the summary of the day is simple. The ladies get everything back, and the unlucky duo walks away with a new lesson and a new nickname, the drivers.
The security cameras capture everything in a matter of seconds. It looks like just one motorcycle passing by, but there are two. Up front, a man going about his life as usual. Behind him, the famous duo Romeo and Juliet, well known from the Wet Snore Squad. They pull up beside him and make that classic approach of someone who wants to talk up close. The man cooperates, not realizing that he, in fact, was a quick response specialist, the kind who stays calm even when the mood shifts. Romeo switches to confused running mode, trips, and goes down. Juliet still tries to insist, but gives up halfway and speeds off, leaving her partner behind. Moments later, backup arrives, Romeo stays to settle things, and the street is clear again.